Now, maybe if Psaki reacted to praise, she'd do something about her awful show. I heard that Animal Planet beat her in the ratings last week when they ran a repeat of Finding Bigfoot.
It's a hit show.
But look, if you're gonna play amateur psychoanalyst, you should understand the basics of human behavior, like incentives, which Democrats don't get. If good behavior is rewarded, people repeat it. If bad behavior is punished, they'd stop. It's like when my interns let me fondle their discarded swimwear, then I let them phone their families. But this tells you how screwed up the Dems are. They play therapists because their ideas suck. Who cares what motivates Trump as long as the outcomes match our needs? If things that put America first happen to align with Trump's feeling good about himself, so what? What would you prefer, the modern progressive model where domestic policy reflects the loathing they have for their home country? Remember, a Democrat feels good when they can point out the bad in America. Trump's success has broken everything they've ever believed in. He's in nobody's box. Instead, he frames every challenge with, how can we make this work for us? Not how we can punish our country for being irredeemably racist. That's quite a difference. And Jen can't wrap her little red head around it, which is why it's so rich watching her play the shrink. Remember that old line, he who can does, and he who cannot teaches? Now it's he who thinks does, and those who can't host a show on MSNBC. Let's welcome tonight's guest! This Minnesotan only has ice in her veins. Host of the Michelle Tafoya podcast, Michelle Tafoya. He looks like the guy who keeps asking if you're a cop. Comedian Adam Hunter. When she goes to the zoo, the animals throw food at her. New York Times bestselling author, and his female fans are on Medicare, and they're not wearing any underwear. Former podcast, Tyrus. You know what I love about the modern Democrat, and I think this is relatively new, is because they don't have ideas, they rely on mind reading. And they feel really clever when they're doing it. They can't analyze your actions because they're so effective, but they go, I know what he's thinking. He's obsessing. He's fixating.
Yeah, and he gets dopamine hits. You know, they could rebrand her show Dr. Jen or Little Red Psyching Hood. Jen Psaki also seems obsessed with what she assumes are his motivations.
Yeah.
She doesn't know that for sure, but she's totally dismissive of the outcome. It's like when they were all saying, he's only trying to achieve peace so he can win the Nobel Peace Prize. Who cares?
And so what?
If he achieves peace along the way, that's right. And you know what? Frankly, I too, Jen, I get dopamine hits when America wins. So I filled up my gas tank. It was the lowest price in 5 years. I got a dopamine hit.
Yes.
We attacked Iran's nuclear facilities. I got a big dopamine hit. We took Maduro out. I got a dope. You know, there's a ceasefire, big dopamine hit. All these dopamine hits, I love it. I'll come back for more dopamine hits every time something good happens. So he's trying to box people out of Venezuela, China, and Russia. Dopamine hit. So all of this dopamine is very, very fine with me. I'll give her, let's cut her some slack though, Greg, because, you know, when she was in the White House, it was very, very slow. No one had a pace like this. She doesn't know what to do with this pace because when she was there with Biden, it was more like an adult daycare than it was a White House.
Yes, it was. Yeah, like Somalia, the Somalian daycare, but
right.
More. Made no sense.
He's right.
Adam, you get a dopamine hit every time somebody throws a $5 bill into your hat on the street.
Yes. I mean, look, how are you going to get mad at him for taking out a dictator? Like, yeah. I mean, who wouldn't be excited? And why was it easier to find a dictator in Venezuela than it was one kid at a Minnesota Somali daycare center?
Yes, that's true. That's true.
I mean, so what if he's, I mean, like other presidents get dopamine, like, you know, Bill Clinton used to run 5 miles every day from Hillary.
Yeah.
And you don't have to like everything Trump does, which obviously, like, he says some things, like, he's like, I'm in better shape than Obama. And I'm like, Michelle is jacked.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that look you gave after you were done.
Yeah, he was like, do I go one more, or do I save that one for next week? Kat, I was looking at you when she was talking because there's this weird thing that some people do when they think they're smart, and she was doing it. And I can't describe it, but there was like this smarty pants voice, and then she was like, people like that. They do talk about your obsession. They are obsessed or they're fixated. It's like that makes them feel as though they have some kind of insight.
The kids would say, she thought she ate with that.
Oh.
See, that's what the kids say. Oh my God, nobody here knows what I'm talking about.
What kids? Somali kids?
I mean, like people, kids like people in their 20s and 30s.
Oh, I don't call those kids.
Yeah, but so I think that that's especially interesting considering like what was the point she was making. Like I would think that the person who becomes the president of any country really likes power.
Yeah. Yes.
Isn't that the job?
Exactly.
That's the job.
And to her, that was an epiphany.
But right, to be like, it's like, and I actually agreed. I agreed with that take.
Yeah.
Yes, like I think that when you become the president, you don't do that to be like, I don't know. Like, what do you guys want to do? I think.
Well, no. Joe Biden. Yeah. Joe Biden was the first president who wasn't interested.
No, because people around him wanted power. So
yes.
I mean, yes, but you're right. I think he was told he wanted it.
Yes, exactly. Tyrus, did you gain anything from her insight?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't. No, the only thing I realize is like you don't even got to sleep with him to make him that bitter. That's kind of cool. That's bitter.
Yeah.
That's angry ex talk right there. Mm-hmm. She's talking like he hasn't already won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's seeking power. He's got it.
Yeah. Yeah. Where have you been, lady?
I mean, it's pretty powerful when you're like, hey, what are you guys doing? Oh, nothing. You guys want to grab a dictator of Venezuela and watch it at my house? And beer? Can Rubio come? Oh, last time yeah, Rubio can come.
Yeah.
And they all sat in the screen and they're like, yo, you know what? I'm the president, right? Can I put the basketball game in the national championship and us grabbing Maduro? Well, yes, Mr. President, you can, because he's powerful. He's reached the top of every field that he's wanted to be in. Entertainment, he had the #1 show on the planet. Then he decided to be president, and he's the most talked about president in the history of presidents. You can combine all the presidents, and they still would be short when it comes to how many times President Trump's name has been said on this planet. So for her to be like, yeah, and he's doing this, and dopamine hit, he creates his own hits.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
He's the president.
He's his own drug dealer. You know what? I just thought of this too. We got to go, but he must be dying to talk about The Extraction, but he can't because he watched the video.
Yeah.
He probably at some point he's gonna just spill it because he just wants to talk about what he saw, but he can't. All right. That was me doing a Jen Psaki impression.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.